Hi, my name is Katie Critchlow. This is my fourth class in the UF Masters in Art Education program, and this is my 7th year teaching art in Orlando, Florida. I am art, deaf and hard of hearing, and ESE certified. My presentation is on the issues surrounding deaf-blind art education. So what is deaf-blind? It is defined as partial or complete loss of both senses of hearing and sight. However, very few people with deaf-blindness have total loss of both vision and hearing. There are only about 11,000 deaf-blind people in the United States from the ages of birth to 22 years old. And why teach deaf-blind students about art? According to Mayfield, everyone is capable of creative expression, and every child wants and needs to exercise his or her own artistic voice. I could not agree more. Deaf-blind people have a unique perspective of the world and should be offered the opportunity to express that. What does this kind of education look like? Tactile stimulation is vital for deaf-blind art education. This can include weaving, textured paints, printmaking, collage, and sculpture. But the most important thing is engaging multiple senses of the deaf-blind individual. For example, if a deaf-blind student is creating an artwork about flowers, he or she should be able to feel the flowers, smell the flowers, even pick the flowers from the ground to fully express their perspective on what a flower is. There are many strategies and adaptations that you can use if you have a deaf-blind student in your classroom. You should think about projects where the students can touch the materials and projects that foster independence. Always have clear, specific instructions. Use contrast if you are using visual aids. Be aware of the lighting and noise in your classroom. Always respect personal space of your student and universal design for learning. Some adaptations include, but are not limited to, adding texture to paint, either soap or sand, adding something with texture under the paper, such as a window screen, macaroni, or something else where the student can actually create texture and feel the texture that they are creating. Using scented materials, such as scented markers. Also, wiki sticks was brought up several times in my research. And wiki sticks are used to outline artworks and images so that the student can feel what's on the two-dimensional surface. And puffy paint. These are two contemporary deaf-blind artists that I found throughout my research. The first is Mary Dignan, a deaf-blind woman who is a mosaic artist, and Joseph Formosa, who is an Australian deaf-blind contemporary artist. Mary Dignan uses mosaics in most of her work, including pieces of tile, found objects, marbles, glass, and Joseph Formosa uses paint in a very strategic way, almost representative of Aboriginal art. One unanswered question that I had is, it is unclear how many schools for the deafblind offer art education and how much federal funding this area receives. For instance, the Florida School for the Deaf and Blind, located in St. Augustine, Florida, does not have an art program for their department. They used to, but they do not anymore. So I find that very interesting. One other thing that I learned throughout my research is I found how to adapt and manipulate these materials for tactile stimulation very interesting, specifically the use of wiki sticks to outline the pictures so that the deafblind can feel the pictures instead of just seeing them. And finally, this is the artwork that I created to go along with my research paper. This artwork was created using three-dimensional tactile mediums used in deafblind art education. I used texture paper for the background to provide tactile stimulation for one's sense of touch. And finally is spelled out in the raised letters at the top using the wiki sticks, also spelled out in Braille at the bottom. The ring in the center was created using modeling clay, and paper sculpted hearts are incorporated so that the deafblind individuals may feel the shapes. This artwork reflects a personal theme of mine, which is my recent engagement. This was a little outside of my comfort zone to create three-dimensional art like this, and so I hope that you enjoy. This is my personal website with my link to my research paper. These are my top 3 references for my research paper. Thank you for your time.